Welcome to Beat Everyone. I'm Ben Flanagan with AL.com, and it's still Tennessee Hate Week, and we're still bringing you the best, and you know him well. One of the biggest recruits in Alabama football history, one of the great linebackers in Alabama history, and you know that that's saying something. All SEC, All American, first round draft pick. He's played for the Tennessee Titans, the Atlanta Falcons, the Dallas Cowboys. Rashaan Evans, welcome back, man. Thanks for doing this again.
Oh, no doubt, man. Always glad to be back.
Hey, Rashaan, first question. What's it like to lose to Tennessee?
Oh, it's horrible. I mean, the whole point of beating Tennessee is to be able to flick your lighters and be able to smoke that cigar at the end of the game with your teammates, man. And I think that was something that was the most fun part about playing Tennessee. And also, not only that, a lot of times playing in our own stadium was fun, but also going to their stadium was also fun as well. I mean, their stadium is unreal as well, just with the fans and how they kind of act and treat us too. It kind of makes the whole vibe just that much more important and that much more significant. So, I've always loved playing Tennessee, just the history behind it, and now we get a chance to see it again.
Well, I'm asking that, obviously a little sarcastically because you don't know what it's like to lose to Tennessee. You were
I
undefeated
don't.
against Tennessee, right?
I
So, like,
definitely
you're
don't.
smoking cigars every single year. But,
Almost
I mean,
definitely.
Rashaan, really, though, like that rivalry in particular, we call it hate week, but
Yeah.
what's it like with the players? Like, is hate the right word? Because I know
Yeah.
that on the other side, you know a lot of those guys, like in
Hmm.
your recruiting process and everything. I'm sure a lot of your friends went to Tennessee. Now you're on the other
Yeah.
side against them. But for Alabama players and you, what was it like when you were going up against them?
Well, to be honest with you, every game was hate week for us when we were playing, but particularly Tennessee. Coach Saban did a really good job of conveying the message of how important each game was, but specifically this one just because of the tradition that it came with. And like you said, you a lot of those guys that you play against, you probably done went to the opening with. You probably went to camps. You know these guys are from high school. You go into your first year of college, and then you start to be able to have the opportunity to play against them. It's a lot of rivalry, a lot of respect for those guys. But at the same time, it's a game, and at the same time too, you got your brothers with you, and they're just amped up. And some of the guys they probably have transferred from Tennessee and are now playing with you guys. And some guys that transferred from Alabama to go to Tennessee and are playing with them. So it's a lot of different dynamics in that game. That's what makes it so significant.
Y'all had a close one in 2015 in Bryant Denny. Ryan Anderson came up with a big sack. Ashawn Robinson recovered it, nearly scored a touchdown, but you
Yeah,
killed him in 2016, 49-10. You killed him
yeah.
again in 2017, 45-7. What was your favorite moment from the Tennessee rivalry in your career?
Oh man, I would say really both of them. I would say the first time we played when I think it was maybe my freshman or sophomore year. And then I think the second time was when I think what maybe my junior year. I think when we played them. No, it was actually my senior year when we played them. I love that year because of I think it was particularly a play where I ran through the middle and I was scot free, like I was just nobody there. Lineman had kind of just parted seas, and I was right there on the quarterback, and I just kind of stood up and just stood there. I was like, yeah, this is. I was like this, and then you could just hear the crowd and the excitement and just that type of energy that comes with that game. And that particular play was one that I always will remember. And even still to this day, to be able to see the games that over the years, kind of play out, those memories always resonate with me just because of the guys that I was playing with and too that year in particular and how it ended.
Rashaan, you're good friends with Ruben Foster, and we've talked about him with you before. The guy is still a fan favorite, obviously, and
Hmm.
we've seen photos from the locker room after Tennessee games before, and Alabama players smoking cigars.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's one photo in particular. Ruben Foster's got a cigarette lit up instead of a cigar. Why was he smoking a cigarette after the Tennessee win?
I mean, to be honest with you, man, at that point, even during that time, I mean, the guys were just different, man. I mean, the level of intensity, the guys that how they played and how they approached the game, where they came from, and how they were brought up, it was just different. You could tell how we played that, we were kind of those type of guys that, even though we're smoking cigars, some of these guys smoke cigarettes. And Coach Saban didn't think nothing of it. He didn't care. All he cared about simply was winning that game. And that just goes to show you, man. I mean, even with the guys smoking cigarettes and smoking cigars, man, I mean, it was filled with nothing but nicotine in the air, nothing but tobacco in the air, and guys just did not care. So that just lets you know how big of a win that is when you got guys literally just want to do whatever they want to do after they win because they deserved it. And Coach Saban loved it. You got Coach Saban would literally watch guys smoke cigarettes and walk past them and dap them up, hug them, and it was just a beautiful moment, man. Those moments right there, I definitely will never forget.
Rashaan, on Ruben, I mean, you've told some great stories about him, but what kind of guy is he? Like, what kind of teammate was he? Like, tell me about the person Ruben
Mhm.
Foster.
Oh man, me and Ruben actually started out in high school when I first met him. I remember him coming from True County High School over from Georgia, and he came in from one came in one year, and I remember the first time I saw him, I was like, dude, this dude's like he's already collegiate ready, So when I first saw him, I was like, yeah, he's the real deal. And we ended up having the opportunity to play with each other in high school. Then obviously we got a chance to play with each other in college. But as a person, man, I mean, he's an amazing guy. He's one of those guys that try to get you the shirt off his back, man, every time he had a chance to. So. And then two, also, even though he was just a menace on the field, I mean, the dude was a really loving guy, really nice guy. He knew how to, make people feel loved as well. So, and even me and him still to this day, we have a great relationship. I hit him every now and then, but sometimes whenever you go into the league and you go and live life, you get a chance to kind of do different things. Man, and a lot of times the relationships that you had in college, it's kind of hard to kind of keep those relationships, but you still had that love and memories that you had with him. So. But I mean, just overall, man, he's an amazing guy and even more an amazing football player.
Well, something you guys and the rest of your teammates shared again were these experiences playing in these huge rivalry games, and they got so big, especially during y'all's era. I'm curious, you spoke about it a little bit ago, just about Tennessee specifically, but rivalries in general. Like, I mean, Tennessee, Auburn, and LSU stand out for Alabama, but what's
Mm.
it like leading up to those games, like on the field and off? Like when you guys are just in
Yeah.
conversation, like how fired up are you guys for those games
Oh
in
yeah,
particular?
it's intense. I think honestly, sometimes the fun is always kind of like the lead up to the game. You got guys out there that's competing at a high level. I mean, you got first rounders just literally on the field and off the field, just sitting on the bench, just looking, watching, waiting for the opportunity. I mean, it's just overall it's just a crazy, crazy atmosphere for a young collegiate player like myself at the time. And you didn't really realize what it was back then, but now that I look back on it, man, it was a golden era to be able to have that opportunity to be amongst those type of players. And then two, leading up to these games, man. I mean, just knowing the guys that you were going to play, you were going to play the Leonard Fournettes of the world. You were gonna go play Alvin Kamara's of the world. You're gonna go play those type of guys, and you had to have your mind right. You knew those guys, even coming up from high school, that they were elite players. They've always been elite. They've always been the guy on their teams, and they had the guy on the team. They're the guy on the team in their collegiate lives right at that point, and you got to come to play. And you knew if you ever had any inkling of hesitation, any inkling of doubt in your mind heading into that game, you had already lost. So we knew that mindset going into each and every game, especially those that, we were going to get probably the best game they possibly want to give. And it felt like a championship type atmosphere every time we played those teams. So we just that preparation in itself, man. I mean, you were keyed in, locked in the whole week, just leading up to that game.
Man, when you say every week was hate week, that's going to fire people up. I guarantee you that. But I mean, you
Mhm.
talk about rivalries again. You had internal rivalries, right? Because it's always offense versus defense at practice, isn't
Mhm.
it? Because you lined up against some of the greats too.
Yeah,
You play with
exactly.
you play with Derrick Henry. The
Most
g- the
definitely.
the guy's a beast. We all know that.
Most
You went
definitely.
up against him every day, and then we obviously know what he's done in the league. What do you remember?
Exactly.
What do you remember most about Derrick Henry?
I mean, just his size. I mean, his size in general is just opposing anyway. And then, two, the way he played, man, he played with such physicality, and he was just so focused when that clock striked and it was time to kick off. So, a guy like that too. Not only that, he was a great leader, man. He knew how to get guys going. And what's so funny was not only was he a leader on the offense, he was also a leader on the defense as well, as far as giving us, some type of energy for us to go out there after they just went on a long drive and scored, and then we got the momentum now to go out there and go bust heads. So that type of guy, man, you want him on your team, man. He's contagious when it comes to his energy and the way he plays. And when he stiff arms guy, he runs over guys and he goes 90 yards, 80 yards, 50 yards into the end zone, man. I mean, it's electrifying.
You'll ever see any of those stiff arms at practice? You
Oh
ever
man,
you
well, you kind of already knew it was going to kind of happen, but just because of his the way he kind of played, man. I mean, he even with his stiff arm and his strength, he's actually a smart guy when it comes to when he does it. I mean, the timing in which you have to be able to do stuff like that, it's not just athleticism. The dude definitely knows what he's doing when it comes to certain plays, and he's had a great chance of having uh, longevity, and not only in the league but also in the collegiate of being healthy as well. So the guy knew how to take care of his body. He knew how to take punches and send them too. So I think a guy like that, man, is the reason why he has so much success in the league to this day.
Rashaan, what do you do when somebody's trying to stiff arm you in the open field? I mean, I'm sure
Oh
that's
man,
technique that you work on. What do you do? Do you,
yeah,
like,
you
swim it? Like, what exactly how do
yeah,
you
you
attack
got
that?
two options, man. I think for guys when you going in, especially a guy like Derrick Henry, a lot of times our coach would tell us to swipe the hand out and then engage in the tackle. But a guy like that, you can't. He's unpredictable. He's kind of unorthodox when it comes to it because sometimes he doesn't just leave it out there. He kind of waits until you kind of engage him, and then he mushes you out the way. I mean, and then you're embarrassed at that point. Everybody sees what just happened. So a guy like that, man, you got to go low. That's the only probably the only thing you could possibly do is go low, hit his legs, and maybe get him down. And if you don't get him down, you at least buy some time for your guys to come over here and help you out. So that's all I can really give you. But when it comes to a guy like Derrick Henry, man, you got to come bring full bore. You got to bring every bit of your body, and you got to run through. You can't just arm tackle guys like that, because they're powerful runners.
I thank God every day I'll never be in that position, Rashaan.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
you spent so many years playing for Nick Saban, and the guy's obviously a larger than life
Mhm.
character. We see him every Saturday now on game day on TV. What's your favorite Nick Saban story that you like to tell people?
Oh man, I mean, it's so many with him. Coach Saban, I think one of the stories I would say about him is, people always see him in this light of he's just very intense, very just structured, very tight, very analytical. But he's also a guy that likes to have fun. And when I saw him two step when for the recruits, and when he's at his house, he's two stepping, he's having fun. I'm like, oh, okay, he's got a little vibe to him. So those are the things I loved about him, man. He knew when to turn it on and turn it off. He knew when it was time to work and when it was time to have fun. And when it was time to work, we knew we had to lock in and handle business. But then after those games, man, he turned into a guy that you wanted to go party with. I mean, he was that type of guy, man. So those are the type of memories I remember him. Not just the things of on the field, but the things he does off the field, and then also too how he handles guys. As far as talking about them in the press, man. A guy like that protects his players, that tries to talk the utmost about his players at all times, whether it's bad or good going on with them. I mean, you got to respect a guy like that. I mean, he could easily throw guys up under the bus like a lot of coaches do, but he was a guy that always protected his players at all costs, even on the field and off the field. So that's the one thing I loved about him.
Sean, you were part of such a winning culture. I mean,
Mhm.
you were in the thick of the dynasty. Like, it was championships or bust for you guys.
Right.
And with Nick Saban gone now, if we're talking about like the current team, he's been gone for a couple seasons now, season and a half anyway.
Yeah.
How do you think people view Alabama now? Like, do you think that it has the same swagger and reputation? I mean, they're obviously winning this year, but what do you think recruits think of Alabama right now?
Well, I think you got to kind of read the room, man. I don't think people view Alabama as what it used to be. I think this new generation, a new era of Alabama is a little different, but I'm embracing, I'm loving it actually. I think it's an opportunity for us to kind of create another identity, for us to be able to go out there and kind of show everybody that hey, we used to ground and pound it, each guy, all these guys, but also too, now that they're a little bit more finesse, they still able to crack wins. So I think guys should and fans should embrace it, man. It's a new era. Obviously the main thing is about winning. I mean, however we gotta do it and however it looks, it could look bad, it could look good, but the main thing is winning and holding that trophy over your head. I think that was the main thing. Because a lot of times, even when we played, it was a lot of games where it wasn't pretty. I can probably count on probably my hands of how many times we lost while I was there. But you do remember those losses. So nothing was really pretty. Nothing was, roses and flowers. It was very gritty, very grimy, and it took a lot for us to get those wins. But even with these guys, man, I mean, they found a way and a solution to their problem. So, all I can do as a fan now watching them is just embrace it, love it. Because you never know what comes out of this, man. I mean, even though they might not be what the Alabama that we used to be, hard nosed, grimy, people used to be scared of as soon as we walked out the tunnel. That's fine. I mean, long as when they strap those helmets on, at the end of the game, that we get a W.
I heard that flex, Rashaan. You could count on one hand how many times I lost while I was at Alabama. I heard
Most
it.
definitely.
What about Kalen DeBoer? I mean, he seems more locked in this year. Seems
Yeah,
all business. I mean, the proof is on the field. Is he a guy that you think that you would have liked to play for in college if you didn't play for Nick Saban?
I think so. I think the simple fact is that nobody's like Coach Saban. Coach Saban is very one of a kind, very rare. You'll probably very rarely see another coach like that. It probably take a decade or two for you even see that, if not ever. And but at the same time, Caden Du Bois, he has his own style of coaching. Even for me going from collegiate to the NFL, I've had different type of head coaches. I've had different type of position coaches, and they all have their own personality. So the thing I love about him is that he's being authentic. He's keeping his way of how he wins. And he's keeping his head on straight when it comes to locking in and cloud and keeping the fans kind of off his back in a way to be able to do his job and be able to convey the message to the players so they can do their job as well. Because it can be a lot of pressure, man, playing for the University of Alabama. I mean, like you said, you're coming from a golden age. You're coming from a era where if you lost one game, matter of fact, not even losing, if you didn't win a certain way, it felt like a loss. So that's a lot of pressure for a guy to be able to fill in as far as shoes, especially coming behind Coach Saban. So I got to give him some kudos and respect. The fact that he was even, he even had the I would say, excuse my language, the balls to even take the job and do what he's doing now. So you got to give the man some kudos because a lot of coaches probably had that opportunity on their desk and they said no just because of the stuff that came with it. And he's doing a very very good job now, just transitioning and from that first year to the second year, and now he's on a roll.
Man, you talk about going for it on 4th and 8, that throw Ty Simpson made against Missouri, going for it and in dialing up a play to win the game in Athens so that Georgia doesn't get the ball back. You're right, man. That takes a certain type of coaching courage to get that stuff
Hmm.
done, make those
No
calls.
doubt.
It's so funny what you said about the way the way we won might not
Yeah.
be right. And we've heard AJ McCarron say even recently that sometimes the weeks that y'all won were worse than the weeks that y'all lost because Saban really looked forward to those teaching moments when you guys lost. So that's the type of culture that you guys are
Hmm.
a part of, and we obviously saw it on the field. One more about the current team, Rashaan. I mentioned Ty Simpson, this offense. They seem to be clicking right
Hmm.
now. New OC Ryan Grubb. The offensive line still kind of forming into what they hope is going to be a permanent unit.
Hmm.
How would you attack this Alabama defense, like doing what you always did so well for so long? How would you get Ty Simpson on the ground if you were on the other side of the ball?
I mean, for him, a guy like him, I mean, he's from what I've watched, he makes pretty good decisions. I would kind of mix things up with him. I would hit him from all angles. I mean, I would blitz him, I would zone him. But what I also wouldn't do is hesitate when it comes to your play call. I would get a little gutsy. And the reason why I would say that is because a lot of times when you play Alabama, a lot of times, like I said, you already kind of lost the game mentally if you just go in and thinking that, okay, it's University of Alabama. Oh, what are we gonna do? You got to go into this game, man, with colors flying, man. And then two, those guys, you got to have a understanding that there's no single tackling. It's game tackling. And then two, also just putting pressure on a guy like that. I mean, as the games go by, he becomes more confident and he becomes more gutsy. And when you got a guy like that, and he becomes like that, and it mentally starts to connect and it transitions on the field, he's becoming more dangerous. So, you got to find ways to, make him a little hesitant, a little timid. Every opportunity that you get to put a hat on him, you got to make him pay. And that's just not only with him, but that's with the running backs and the wide receivers. I mean, they feed off each other and they feed off the energy just from the fans and the plays and the things that they do on that field. They feed off each other. So, I think that's the reason why they're able to have so much success.
For sure, you know that's what they're thinking about going into Tennessee and the rest of this season. How are they going to attack? How can they get better? How can they keep Ty Simpson upright? Because it seems like the way he goes, this team goes.
Mhm.
Rashaan, we did a lightning round Q&A last time. We're going to do another one. You're known for your
Okay.
speed, so we're going to do it quick. First, pick one. Who would you rather beat? Auburn, LSU, or Tennessee?
Auburn, every
Auburn.
time.
Why Auburn?
The reason why I would say Auburn, because Auburn, every time we used to play Auburn, they were unorthodox, man. I don't know what it was whenever we used to play them. It felt like, it was a strange feeling. It was always like, even with the kick six stuff, I mean, it's a lot of voodoo stuff going on with them. So it was always very difficult to kind of just play them straight up. They always had something in the back of their pocket. So Tennessee and all those other LSU games, we knew it was going to be hard, no straight down here, no fair dodging. But with Auburn, you don't know what you was going to get.
We understand, man. We get it. I appreciate the answer. Hey, can you say something nice about any of those teams? Just curious.
Absolutely not. I mean, if anything, I hope we run through every single one of them. I mean, when I tell you that hatred is deep for these guys, for those guys, I mean, I still to this day don't like. I mean, I go down to Auburn every other week to go see my family, and every time I see that banner or that sun, every time I go in the city limits, I'm like, oh my god, here we go. So, but at the same time, though, man, I think too, just playing those teams is what make it fun, man. It's what makes the SEC the SEC. I've heard a lot of saying about the SEC is not what it used to be. It may not be, but the SEC is still the SEC, man. You still got high caliber players playing in this division, so you got to respect them, man. And I will hope, all goes well. Alabama holds that trophy at the end of the season, but at the end of the day, I want an SEC team to be in that last game. Period. Every single year.
Man, last time I checked, what they got, like 10 teams in the top 25 right now. How many in the top 10? SEC looked pretty good to me.
Yeah, I
Uh,
love it. I love it. So I mean, I think the naysayers talking about the SEC, man. I think we just kind of gotta, not even say any words and just put work in, man. I think at the end of the season, you're gonna probably see more SEC teams than you would see any other teams in any other divisions.
Rashaan, day games or night games?
Night games. It's a different type of environment, man. And then too the anticipation, that's what made it fun. Having that jittery feeling of like, what am I gonna do in this game? How's it gonna go? Sometimes you'll get up and you'll take naps, you go eat, but just the psychological part, preparing for that game, and then finally when you play, everybody's playing like it's almost like it's an NFL Monday night game. I mean, you got everybody watching, your mom, your dad, your aunties, your grandma, and you're ready to go play.
And then you didn't even have the lights when you were playing. They got the lights now, so you can
Oh,
only
that's
imagine.
what I'm saying. Even the lights now, I mean, they're constantly adding different type of things to add on to helping them win. So I could imagine would have been with those type of lights in Brian Denny.
Rammer Jammer or Dixieland Delight?
Ooh, Dixieland delight.
You like Dixieland Delight?
The
Did
only
that get y'all
reason
fired
why
up?
the only reason why I like that one was because of I think it was one year they played it, they was playing it, and then I just saw the student section, they was going crazy. But either one, you can't really go wrong, but that one was my personal favorite.
I got you. Best linebacker in Alabama history?
Whew, that was a tough one. Best linebacker in Alabama history,
Alabama history. Pick one. It can be
without exclude.
yourself.
Obviously I'm gonna say me, but excluding myself, man, I would probably say it's a toss up between CJ and Ruben
Okay.
to me. Now, if you're talking about, a lot of people would say Derrick Thomas, but he was an edge guy, I would think,
Right.
right? But I would say between just because of how they played the game, CJ wasn't as CJ was physical, but he wasn't as physical as Ruben. But he was super, super smart. He was when I tell you he was a general of the defense, he knew exactly where everybody was and where to be. And with Ruben, he was so physically, gifted and so physically, his presence alone always made teams kind of go back in the back of the playbook like, hey, listen, this not gonna work. We got to come with a different type of plan to go against this guy. and you just kind of saw that every time they played. So those two guys were menaces, and that's not to negate any other linebacker that ever played, man. I mean, you got Dante Hightower, you got Reggie Ragland, you got Trey DePriest, you got Ruben Foster, C.J. Mosley, me, Mac Wilson. I mean, you got multiple guys that have played that position at a high level. So I can't. It's hard to name who's the best because every single one of them had their own attributes. But when you're talking about, guys that just, kind of stand out as far as when you just say Alabama, I think those two guys stand out.
Great picks. Hard to pick one. It's an
It's
impossible
hard,
question.
man. It's hard to pick one.
Rashaan, should Alabama fans ever rush the field after a big win?
No. Never, never. I think the atmosphere that Coach Saban left behind, man, of just expecting wins. I mean, that sends a message to everybody else in college football. I mean, to show that, hey, man, look, we won and we expected to win, and not only do we expect to win, but we also expect to win the whole thing. And then after that, sure, you could do whatever you want to do, but when you rush the field, man, I think it's fun for the fans, it's cool, but man, you got to play another week. You got another team that's looking down on you and like, look, we finna just ruin their whole season. So, and it just makes guys think that you kind of already arrived. You don't want to make that. You don't even want to create that type of feeling, especially when you're winning. You want to kind of feel like you're the underdog, but you're not. And you want to kind of keep that kind of chip on your shoulder and keep that grimy and grittiness about you, so that way you can play every week and perform at a high level.
Man, I'm trying to think if you were ever on the field for a field rush. You were on the 2014 team, weren't you? But did you make that Oxford trip when y'all lost to Ole Miss that year? Were you there for that?
I think I was.
Okay. I know they were.
Yeah, I remember. I think I kind of remember that one, but like I said, I mean, Coach Saban would get mad. I mean, he did not like that at all, man. When fans used to try to rush the field, or you would see guys with, even after the game would try to jump the, barricades, or and get on the field. I mean, I don't even think he would really like reporters to even get on the field sometimes. I mean, he was just that stern when it came to people being on the field, man. So, but it just sent the message, man, to the rest of college football. Like, look, we expect to win. We're really like that. We're really those type of guys that expect a high level of, play. And, it transitioned to everybody else. And I think even then, still to this day, guys are in the league. They don't even really hardly be happy about a win. They know that they got to prepare for another week of preparation and beat guys. I mean, you look at Jalen Hurts. I mean, the dude is like stone cold. I mean, you never really see a smile, but he understands that he has a lot of pressure on him. He has a lot of pressure from not only just, his teammates of being the guy, but also pressure from, from the fans. And in order for you to stay focused, man, you got to kind of like, be neutral and take things for what it is and just kind of move on from it so you can be able to perform the next week.
Man, Saban made you guys all psychos. That's what
Man, he
that
made
is.
us complete robots, man. I
Total
don't even think I
psychos.
was like that before I went to Alabama. I was always excited about a win, but after I came out of his program, man, I understood what it meant to really win and really be, elite at that game.
He didn't like reporters in the press conference room or on the
I
field, I
mean, he
guess.
didn't.
Yeah, for sure. I
He
know.
knew that, just having all of that in there, especially with young brains, we would just eat that up and we would just let it go to our head. So I think that's one of the main reasons why he didn't like that.
He probably didn't like that field rush, but he had those state troopers on either side of him, just
Oh
like
man, those state
elbowing these
troopers were
dudes off.
on call and they were ready to tackle anybody that came on that field at that time. So, but man, Coach Saban, he's one of a kind.
Rashaan, your favorite Alabama football tradition, if you could pick one?
Ooh. Yeah, I probably had to go back to that Tennessee game. After smoking those cigars, man, I mean, it's nothing like it. I mean, even to this day, when we do play these guys, play Tennessee, and when we do win, I will have my cigar laying next to me, and I will definitely flick it up.
Rashaan, last one. Who's the Alabama GOAT? Player, coach, whatever, doesn't matter. Who's your pick? When you think Alabama football, you think of this person.
Oh, Coach Saban.
Okay.
I mean, he's undisputed. I mean, the best we probably have ever seen in college football. Even Coach Saban. But what's so crazy is Coach Saban will say, what's his name? I forgot his name. Bear Bryant is the greatest coach to ever coach, and that's just respect to Bear Bryant. I mean, the success that he's had when he was, coaching football. So that just goes to show you that not only is he aware that he was that good, but he also humble enough to know that I can also give credit to somebody else that was also great as well. And that's the reason why I think he's the GOAT.
Rashaan Evans, number 32, one of our favorites, one of the best to ever do it. Thanks for doing this, man. We really appreciate it.
Man, I appreciate y'all every time y'all call me to come on, man. Love it.